Going live. Okay, hello. Welcome to Let's Get Social. Happy Friday. It's been 2 weeks and I have not been here. So I am so happy to be back to. I'm sorry. I was just looking at my multiple connections. So I'm so happy to be back to do today's sew along. This is, I think, my second sew along in the month of June. I typically go live. We here. Thank you. Thank you. I typically go live every Friday at 7 o'clock. So I appreciate your patience with us starting at 7:30 today. But again, I'm really excited, as you all may have heard, or if you haven't heard, you're going to hear now, that Black Sewing Network all this week has really been focused on celebrating and highlighting Black pattern designers in commemoration of Juneteenth. And so I am so excited to highlight Nikki of Beaute JaDore. We sew her patterns all the time, and I'm just happy to be sewing one of her patterns again today because it's an awesome pattern and one that I have made variations of several times. She is the queen of hacking her own patterns and giving us more things to do with the patterns that we have. So you, in essence, when you buy one of her patterns, you're not just getting one pattern, you are probably getting 2 or 3 and more to come, because she's always pulling them out and showing us more things that we can do with them. And so I am here to show you one of the things, or to build on one of the things, hacks that she showed us to this pattern. So I'm excited to kind of walk through that. If you are sewing along or you plan to sew this pattern in the future, there is a prep video that I posted earlier that goes along with this, goes along with this video that you are watching today. We're going to talk through some of the things, and I will be referring to that video. So if you are listening to this and you're wondering what other video that I'm referring to, it is a video that is a prep video that I encourage you to watch before you do this sew along, because it's going to help you kind of dive right into this sew along. But don't worry. We're going to talk through those things, but you're going to get the additional detail by watching Nikki's original hack video of this pattern. This is Know Me 2016. And we are going to be making a sleeveless V-neck crop top. And I'm going to talk to you about how you can even make adjustments to that. You don't have to crop it. You can make some adjustments to the hack that we are doing today, so that it could just literally be a waist, mid-waist, sleeveless V-neck. And we also are going to talk about ways that you can make the V less V, so you have a little less cleavage showing, or you can, be, full out. And that really just depends probably how much bust you have as to how much you want to show, or really just what your preference is. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So thank you all for joining. Make sure that you share and like, because that helps to notify people that typically get on with us, and it'll alert them that, hey, we're here. With that said, it's Friday. It's 90+ degrees outside here on the East Coast. And so people could be, out enjoying their day and might watch later. But with that said, make sure you hit the like, make sure you share, so that other people can be notified that we're going live today. So thank you to everyone who is joining. Black Sewing Network, Melanie, Monica, So You Can Sew. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here. Who else we have? Terrence. Hey, Terrence. Welcome. Anna, Pat, Dominic, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those that might be joining for the first time, I do stream live to multiple platforms at the same time. So if you see me looking in multiple directions, it's because I have Facebook and YouTube over here. I have TikTok over here. And so I will be, looking at the comments, responding. And for those that are on, if you see someone ask a question while I'm sewing and you know the answer, please drop the answer in the chat. And so I'll be talking to you all along the way as well. Okay, so with that said, we've done a lot of, introductory talking. And so we're going to really dive right into the pattern. Like I said, we are using Nikki's 2016 Know Me pattern. It's one of the first patterns that she put out through Know Me. And we are going to be using the bodice of this pattern to be able to create a V-neck sleeveless crop top. So for this, if you watched a prep video, or even if you haven't, you really only need 2 pattern pieces from Nikki's 2016 Know Me pattern. You need the front bodice, which is pattern piece number 1, and you need the back bodice, which is pattern piece number 2. You will be making some modifications to these pattern pieces so that they are ready for you to sew. I'm going to just talk through those modifications, but you do need to watch the video to know exactly how to do it. It's just so much easier. She explains it so much clearer. She explains it very clearly. And so I thought, rather than recreate the wheel, let's use what Nikki has already created for us. Hey, Kay, welcome. Hi, Michelle, welcome. So the first thing that you need to do is, if you look at this original pattern, you'll notice that it has a circle neck. It is not a V-neck. And so she tells us how to take a circle neck and make it into a V-neck. And so that's the first thing that you need to do. The other thing is that this hack that we're using is one that she used to take this dress and turn it into a top. And it's a Kika Vargas inspired top. And so one of the things that she also does is tells us to cut about 2 inches off of the bottom of pattern piece number 1, as well as pattern piece number 2. And that is how I came up with the crop top, because you pretty much are landing like right below your bust line. And we're going to add a waistband to it as well, just to give a little bit more length, about 1 inch length to it. So so Monica asked a great question, which is, she's like, hey, you know what? So the typical 17-inch bodice is already a crop top. So for us folks that are 5'8" an inch and taller, like, hey, do we really want to make that cut? And so that is something that we're going to talk about, because you do not have to cut that 2 inches off. The thing that I would recommend is to measure like your shoulder to where you want the bottom of your top to fall, and then measure the shoulder to the bottom of your pattern piece and see where those inches, remembering that you got a 1/2 inch at the top and a 1/2 inch at the bottom, or 5/8, so a little bit more than half, 5/8 inch at the top and 5/8 inch at the bottom, that you won't have, because that's your seam allowance. So you will not have that. And so that's one of the things that I was going to suggest to you, that you don't have to if you cut the 2 inches off of it, it is literally, and we're going to add back 1 inch on, because we're going to add a waistband at the bottom. So it's literally going to fall like probably like 1 inch or so above your belly button. And so if you are really tall, or you want less of your midriff area to show, then you might want to either don't cut anything off of the bottom of it. Again, she's removing 2 inches off of it. And you may not want to remove 2 inches off of it. You may want to leave it right where it is. The other thing is that you can create a muslin to see where it falls on you. By just, you don't have to sew up the whole thing. You can just sew up the front and the back and just see, like, literally, where does it fall? I will tell you, for me, because I've made this so many times, that 2 inches falls, and adding that 1 inch back, that waistband back, falls exactly where I like it. It is, it does give me a nice bit of my midriff showing, but depending on where I'm going and where I'm wearing this to, that is going to depend on how much or how little I want to actually show. So Monica asked a great question that you definitely do want to take into consideration, where it will fall, how much of your mid area that you want to show, and then you could decide whether you want to cut the 2 inches off, or maybe you want to add on more because you want it to come down lower than what it already would come, even before you cut off the 2 inches. So great point. The other thing that we'll talk about too is this is going to create a V-neck, and it is going to expose a good bit of your side cleavage. And so you may want less of that to show. I'm going to talk to you about how to make less of it show based on where you sew this V together. We'll talk about that too. So that's another way that you can add a little bit more modesty back, but we'll be doing that in the sewing phase of it. So there's no adjustment that you need to make to your pattern piece in order to have more modesty with how low the V does decide to go. The other thing that I will mention is that if you don't want a V-neck and you really just want the circular neck, you can do that. The only thing that I will say is that you do want to be mindful of the type of fabric that you use. Having an open V-neck is one of the things, especially because, for example, I'm using woven fabrics that have very little stretch. And while we're going to be doing putting in a zipper that pretty much unzips almost the entire back of the bodice, it is not a separating zipper. At least that's not the one that I'm putting in. You can use a separating zipper, which gives you, complete ability to get in and out. But you want to be mindful of how stretchy your fabric is, because you may create this, and if you have a circle neck, you literally are going to have to be able to get, and you're not using circle fabric, you're going to have just the opening of the zipper back to be able to get into it. And, as we all know, if you have broad shoulders or a big bust, you may need more room to get into that garment. In other words, you may need a fully separating zipper that allows the whole thing to open up so you have the fit that you want, or you may need stretchier fabric that will allow you to be able to put it over your head like a t-shirt or something, something that has a circle neck that you can get on your body, because again, we're going to put a waistband at the bottom, and it's going to, kind of limit, the amount of stretch that you can have at the bottom, unless you use more stretchy fabric. So I think those are the only other thing that I'll mention, because I have already put my darts in. So we're going to start with I'm going to talk you through the darts. Again, when you watch the prep video and you watch Nikki's initial Kika Vargas hack, she's going to talk about the darts as well, because you're going to be adding some darts, and we're going to talk about that as well. Let's see. You said, Monica says, my back of the neck to the waist is 22 inches. So I would leave it, right. You would leave it where it is. And again, you have a feel for where that bodice is going to fall on your body. And again, some people have a very long torso. I am not fortunate to have one. I would love to be, I like my height, don't get me wrong, but we could always use a couple more inches in our torso. That makes us look, in my opinion, more slim and lean and tall. But nothing that a camera trick can't do. But yes. So definitely doing that measurement, and then again, measuring the bodice. And the only other thing I'll mention about making those adjustments to how long, how the length of the bodice, is that whatever you do with the pattern piece number 1, you need to also make that adjustment to pattern piece number 2, because you are going to be literally, this is the front and the back, and you want them to be able to fit together. And so you're going to be attaching them you're actually going to be attaching them at the side seams, which is over here. And so you need them to be, the same height. Also, remember that you do have darts. So when you are determining whether it's the same height or not, you need to also kind of fold your darts if when you're doing that. But nonetheless, it's even more simpler than that. Just whatever inches you add to the front, you need to also add it to the back, and that should leave it equal. You shouldn't have to do the folding of the darts and all of that if you're adding the same amount to the front as you are to the back. Okay, pivoting a little bit to the darts. So I have already put all the darts in my pattern pieces. The other thing that I didn't necessarily mention, but if you watch the prep video, then you will know, is that this bodice has a facing or a lining on it. It also has a zipper in it as well. And so when you are, I guess you have 2 options in terms of putting in your darts. One, you can go ahead and put all your darts in your fabric, and then you can use your fabric with the darts in it to trace your facing or lining. And then you don't necessarily have to put darts in your facing or lining, because it will be based on the actual size of your fabric once the darts are put in. And then also sometimes people, and Carmen and I were talking about this earlier today, sometimes people, will use their pattern pieces and fold their darts so that it becomes the size of the fabric once the darts are in, and then use that kind of folded dart pattern piece to cut their facing. And then of course the more time consuming step is to do what I did, which I'm going to transition to one of those 2 steps that I mentioned to you earlier, which is I cut the fabric, and then I went on ahead and sewed in darts to all of the pieces, which takes much more time because you are literally repeating the same, install of darts with your facing lining as you did with your fabric. It's twice, you know, it takes twice as long to do that rather than just cut it. And so as I was sewing in all of these darts, I thought, "Ah, this is the perfect time where I wish I would have just cut my lining later after I put in my darts or made the adjustment to the pattern." So the other thing I will mention about the darts is that Nikki does have us add a dart to the front piece. She has us add a dart at the bottom. And the reason why she says that is that, you know, the original pattern is not made to be open in the front like a V-neck. And so we have to kind of get rid of some of that extra fabric and help it conform to our breast area. And so part of that is creating a dart. And so she, again, in that prep video that I told you about, she walks you through where to put that dart and how to put it in. But I just want you to be aware that there is a dart there, an added dart, and in addition to the ones that are already showing on the pattern. And then the other is that in pattern piece number 2, this is an optional dart. It depends on how stretchy your fabric is. But if your fabric is not stretchy, because you are getting rid of about a 1/2 inch of the top of your shoulder piece when you are creating this V-neck, when you create that fold, then it's not going to necessarily match up. And so if your fabric is stretchy, then this is not going to be a big deal because you'll be able to just make up that 1/2 inch by stretching it over, applying a little bit of a stretch. But if you are using woven fabric or something that is less stretchy, then you may need to, on your pattern piece number 2, create a small dart that is about a 1/2 inch. And that will then allow your shoulder pieces to meet up. What I would do is before you put that dart in, I would just, once you have your pattern pieces cut, you can literally just match up your shoulders seams of your fabric. And then once you have your fabric cut, you can match up your shoulder seams and see, do I need to have that 1/2 inch dart or not to make it match? Do I have enough stretch in the shoulder to be able to, you know, stretch it out so that it overlaps. So those are the only 2 added darts that are there. And then the only other thing that I will mention is that pattern piece number 1, when you are cutting it, on the pattern itself, it tells you to cut it on the fold, but again, because we are creating this V-neck, you are not cutting it on you're not cutting this pattern piece on the fold. You are literally going to be cutting 2 separate pieces. So you'll cut 1 and 2 exactly the same. You're going to cut this out as 2 pieces, 2 mirrored pieces. And you'll want to do that for the lining or facing, and then also for the fabric piece. So I think that is all of the prep information that I wanted to share. Hey, Lynn. Hi, Shishi. Hi, Miss Tata. Angel, welcome. Dory, Valerie, Raisha, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited that you all are here. And so for those that have joined, if you didn't already hear, we are going to be doing a sleeveless V-neck crop top. So for those that went to the Chicago Frock Tales or saw any of the pictures from the Chicago Frock Tales, it is the top that I wore to the Chicago Frock Tales. I used a white linen fabric to create that. And so that's pretty much what we're going to be creating today, that same top. And I think it's a great summer top. Like, it would be a perfect thing to wear today because, again, on the East Coast, it's 90+ degrees. In fact, this weekend, I'm looking at the weather, and it's going to be 95 with a heat index of 107 Saturday, and it's going to be 100 with a heat index probably above 107. So again, a perfect time to wear this type of garment. Okay, so the other thing is, again, it's Juneteenth. So I'm really excited because I'm using this Ankara fabric. I absolutely love this fabric. I have already made some things with this fabric, and I'm so glad that I ordered. I think I ordered like 5 yards of it. Trust. So you're going to see a ton of stuff with this fabric because I absolutely love this fabric. So anyway, I can't tell you how much I absolutely love this fabric. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. Look, your outfit was for Frock Tales was just, I still can't get over that outfit. I'm still showing people. I'm sending that to people. Like, that outfit was awesome. But thank you. Hey, Jesse. Hi, Lynn. All right. So now with all that said, we did all of that. We literally spent like 20 minutes kind of going over all the prep, but it's all things that are really important. And if you're sewing along with me, drop something in the chat. Let me know that you're sewing along so I can know to answer questions, for you, or, anything that you might have. Or if you plan to sew it later and you have questions as I'm moving through things, let me know and I will stop and answer those questions. Okay. So the darts are the first thing that you're going to do. You'll do your front darts and your back darts. We talked about that. The next thing that you're actually going to do is we are going to install our zipper. Like Nikki doesn't waste any time. She's like, put the darts in and we are putting in the zipper. So you are going to grab your two back fabric pieces. And here are my two back fabric pieces. You're going to turn them wrong side facing up is what you're going to do. And so there's two ways. Well, there's multiple ways that you can install this. You're going to be putting a zipper in the back. And like I said before, you can use an invisible zipper. You can also use a regular zipper. Let me see. Do I have it here? Yeah, invisible, or where's my other little, or an all-purpose zipper. Either one of those will work. Or you could use this is a separating zipper for garments. Oh, here we go. So this is a separating zipper for garments. You could use any of these zippers will work perfect. It's really about personal preference. I want an invisible zipper. That's what I prefer. So that is what we're going to be putting in today. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to, and I'm going to talk you through two ways to install this invisible zipper. And pretty much it's going to be close to the same thing for the regular zipper as well. I do have a tutorial on my, I do have a zipper tutorial on my YouTube page that walks through invisible zipper, all kinds of zippers. And then I also have like a discussion all about zippers where I bring on some of your favorite sewists to talk about zippers. And so if you have any questions about zippers, you want to see quick or long discussions about zippers, I have all of that on my page. So Monica asked, do I write notes about your projects before I start? You just gave us a lot of tips and I would be all over the place if I didn't write it down. So I do have some notes, but I guess your question is, do I have notes for people? So I don't have notes like something you can print out, and so that's a great idea for me to think about, because you're right. Like I literally gave you all 20 minutes worth of like, make sure you do this, 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 and this. I do have the prep video. So all of the things that I covered are in a 5-minute prep video, much more concise probably than what I went through just now. But I encourage you definitely to watch the prep video, because it will go like methodically, like first do this, first do that, next do this. And so hopefully that's helpful. But to your point, yeah, maybe like a print this out, or an instruction might be really helpful for those that are sewing it and maybe, don't want to or have the ability to kind of push pause as they follow along. So it's much easier sometimes to have a written instruction. So great idea, something that I definitely could do. He said, I would pay for them because it would save me a lot of time. Yeah, definitely a great point. I appreciate that, Tiff. And I agree. Like I take notes myself. As you can see, I have some handwritten notes right here that are helping me to remember to tell you all the things that I did as I prepared for this sew along today. So yeah, thank you so much, Monica, for that tip. So there are two ways that you could put in this invisible zipper. One way would be to take your back bodice pieces and put them right sides together and put a basting stitch down down the back of it, and then iron open your seam allowance. And that's what you are going to be attaching your zipper to. You would basically clip your zipper on or pin your zipper on, and then you would do an initial basting stitch. And then you're going to go back in with a closer stitch, and you would do that on each side. Again, I have a video that actually demonstrates how you would do that. The other way that you would do it And the way that we're going to do it today is still taking our fabric and putting it the right side facing down. And then you're going to take the end that you're going to put your zipper on, and you're going to fold it in about a 1/2 inch, and you're going to press it down. And then I'm going to be applying this zipper tape. And so if you've seen me put in a invisible zipper before, you know that I love to use this zipper tape because it's so much easier. It saves a lot of steps. So I am literally going to take my little Cricut iron, just my little mini iron, and I'm going to fold. Again, I have my fabric right side facing down, and I do like a 1/2 inch finger press first, and then I just to hold it down a little bit till I can iron it. And then I'm going to press it with my little Cricut iron. And then I'm going to take my tape, my zipper tape, and put a piece on. Again, when I encourage you to get a zipper that goes the entire length of your bodice, because we are going to literally take this all the way, this zipper all the way to the bottom. There we go. For some reason, my little iron plug was caught on my. So I'm ironing that down a 1/2 inch, or yeah. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Fold it. Do a little finger press just to help it stay, help me line it up. And then I'm going to press it. And again, we're doing this to pattern piece number 2, which is the back bodice, and that is where the zipper is going to go. And then I'm just taking there we go. Hi, Lala. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you. I absolutely love this Ankara fabric as well. Again, you're going to see a lot of things. Like I literally, I made, this is the new look shorts. Oh, this is the back. Front, they're cute. I made some adjustments to them to make them so that I like them. They are short shorts, but they're not tight shorts. So they're short but not tight. And so, yes, they're cute. And my plan is, if I have enough fabric, to make McCall's 77. If you remember this little top, I'm gonna make one of these little tops with it, if I have enough. So we'll see, because I got plans, a whole bunch of plans. Okay, so back to the zipper. Let me see, Danielle, would the V-neck bodice work with the regular sleeves and bottom on the pattern? Yes, yes. So Danielle asked, would that V-neck work with the regular sleeves that Nikki has and the dress, the bottom? Absolutely, 100%. In fact, Danielle, Nikki has a Kika Vargas hack, which is where she does a different sleeve for that, but you could totally use this original sleeve and just follow the part that we're doing now, which is the creation of the V-neck. And so you absolutely 100% could do that. 100%. That's a great question. And so I would point you to Nikki of Beaute JaDore's YouTube page. Let me see if I can put it in the chat for you really quick. At JADORE. Okay. So that is her YouTube page. You could go to her YouTube page and you will see the Kika Vargas hack. And you would basically do everything following that hack, except for you would do the original sleeve. because she's doing a different sleeve. Hi, so happy. So I have my zipper tape. So I'm going to take a piece of the zipper tape. Here we go. And I'm going to put it literally in the middle of the part that I folded down. This zipper tape, I got it from Wawak. I can't remember how much it was, but it was super inexpensive. And if you know, when you first start putting it on, you do have the ability to kind of take it off a little bit, like right away, not after you've kind of pressed it and sealed it in, but when you first start doing it, you can like manipulate it a little bit before you remove the backing and all of that, which is great. So I literally just take the piece, I put it not right at the edge, but kind of center close to the edge, if that makes sense. I don't want to say center right or left, but center, I guess, right, your right. I guess that's probably the easiest way to say it. And I'll hold it up and show you a little bit. So I got it going from the top to the bottom because, as I mentioned before, I am literally taking the zipper all the way to the bottom. So if you were to look at this, you can see this is the folded piece right here, this little piece right here. And then I have it like very close to the folded edge, but not on the folded edge. And so I just apply some pressure to it, like scrape it with my fingernail, or if you have something else you could scrape it with, that helps the tape to adhere. And then I leave the backing on until I'm ready to apply the zipper. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, which is take another piece of the zipper tape. And I'm going to, again, put it close to the edge, but not close to the fold, but not at the fold. And I'm just going to do one little adjustment here because I didn't bring it over enough. Yeah, you got to make sure you have that seam allowance because otherwise, where's your zipper going to attach to? Okay, so here we go. All right, and then I'm just going to cut that. It's sticky. Like this tape is so sticky, you could literally use this on a muslin and without even having to sew it. It has that much, you know, secure. It's so secure. Like you could use it to hold the zipper in without stitching it, like temporarily. Like if you want to see how something looks. Now, I say that with caution because once it's on there, it's going to be hard for you to take the zipper off of it. But I'm just giving you an idea of how sticky it really is. Like you really could, you do need to zip it. So I don't want to be misleading. Like you don't have to zip it. I mean, sew it. You do have to sew it. Okay. So I'm just taking my fingernail along it and just scraping it on to help adhere the tape to it. And now I'm going to open up my zipper. I am using a 20 to 22 inch zipper. So it is longer, but it's the one that I had. I realize now, like I bought zippers, like a thing of zippers from Wawak when I first started sewing, and I'm working through those zippers. And so as much as I think I have all these zippers, like they're dwindling down. I got to order some more zippers because I was struggling to find a zipper that matched. Again, this is invisible, so you're not going to really be able to see the zipper. So if I needed to, I could have used some completely off color if I needed to. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my my little Cricut iron, and I'm just going to press down the sides of it so that they can lay down. making sure, I mean, this is not super, super hot. It's enough to press it down. I do have my other iron, but I'm not going to pull it out. But you can use your iron to just press down the sides of it so that they lay. It just will help you. The other thing that I just started doing too is, so I have the Bernina 790, and it does come with a zipper foot. But I found that using my edge foot also allows me to get really close to the zipper teeth without going into the zipper teeth. So, and then I don't have to use that extra step of changing my feet. So I've been doing that lately. So I'm not going to change my zipper foot either. Hi, Auntie Carol. Hi, Leangela. Welcome. So I'm just pressing down the sides. Pressing down the sides. So some of you may have noticed I don't have my July schedule out, but I'm getting ready to put out my July schedule. I'm looking at what am I going to be working on? What are we going to be doing? So I'm putting that out. The hope is to like really try to finalize it. It's almost July now, but before next week, maybe finalize not only my July, but probably my August schedule as well. I like to put out things like really well in advance so people can know and plan. I think it also helps when people want to sew along with me. I from time to time get a lot of people that do sew along with me in real time. And so I think it's helpful when I'm able to put out the schedule of what I'm going to be working on well in advance so people can join. And I love to have people that sew along with me. Queen, this is a Cricut iron. It's like a little iron that you're supposed to use for Cricut, but I use it when I have like just little things like ironing the sides of this zipper, or like when I'm doing the zipper install, ironing a little bit of the 1/2 inch that I have to fold, or if I do like my darts, just doing a little bit of a press on the darts. So it doesn't have any steam to it, so you should be aware of that piece as well. So there are things that you shouldn't use it for, or that don't give you the best as an iron with a lot of steam to it. You say your Nikki dress is made from Ankara. Look, Ankara is like some of the best fabric to me. Okay, so now we're going to install this zipper. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the right side of the zipper and we are going to put the zipper pull just right below the top of the fabric. So like right below it. So I'm just going to show you, like, this is where it's going to be. This is, if you could see that, this is where it's going to be, like right below. So the zipper pull is like right below. So right side is facing kind of out. And so you are only attaching it to this folded part, which obviously, because we're not sewing it, we're just applying it to the sticky part. But before you do that, you have to remove the backing of your zipper tape. And I'm just, again, cutting this thing down too. So you have to remove the backing of the zipper tape. So I'm doing that right now. And once you remove that backing, just make sure you're extra careful because, like I said, this stuff is really super sticky. And if you have a lot of like fabrics or thread around, all of that will stick to this thing. So you want to make sure that any extra fabrics and stuff that you have lying around, that you don't have it after you remove the back, because it's super sticky and that will all get caught on there. So again, you're going to put that zipper pull like just right below the top of it. So I'm doing that right now. And once you do that, you're literally going to just make sure that your zipper falls like right in the middle. Right in the middle, and I'm just lining it up. And then I'm just going to press it. And again, if you do need to, you know, take it off a little bit to adjust it, you can do that. You have to do it before you start applying a whole lot of pressure, because like I said, once you start applying a lot of pressure to it, it will like really stick on there. It'll be super stuck. So I just like to make sure it is like really over as much as it can be, so that it lines up, so that the fold lines up with the center of my zipper. And then I can see in the bottom where I need to do a little bit of an adjustment. And again, I love it because you can like pull it out and make that little adjustment. And put it like right there on it. And I'm going to show you in a minute so you can see how it's just like, so it's like right there on that seam, right in that middle. So when the other piece is on there, it's literally going to just, you know, here we go. And so then once I know I have it placed right, I just take my finger and really just. So the next thing I do is I actually sew on this piece before I attach it to the other piece, because then I can unzip in it if I need to ensure I get that it matches up really, really well. So, and you can actually really unzip it now if you need to, because that zipper tape has it on there really, really well. So the other thing I'm just going to mention to you is that you are not sewing this down folded. You're going to open it out and you're only going to sew on that one folded part of it. Again, it's the same process as when you're sewing it down when you do the basting method. So again, you could unzip in it if you want. And so I'm going to, let me just put at my sewing machine so you can see it. And then let me add this so you can see. Okay, so the other thing I'm doing is I am literally going to fold back my teeth. I'm folding back my teeth. Let me see if I can adjust that a little bit so you can see even better. I feel like that gives you a little bit better. Okay. So I'm folding back my zipper teeth, and then I am putting my needle right in that groove. Okay. And there we go. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. So the other thing too I will share with you is that when you are using this glue, you want to make sure that you do change your needles, and because that glue does get on the needle, and it can kind of make it a little sticky. And so if you do a lot or you don't have the ability to really get that glue out, you want to make sure that you change that needle and look for any glue residue that you might see, because you will know, because your needle won't move as smoothly, and you might need to just change the needle and sew a little bit. There we go. So I'm just taking my time and sewing in that little groove. Making sure that I'm not sewing in my teeth because I will have to take those out in order to make sure that the zipper can zip in. All right. And now what you can do is before you attach the other side, you can make sure that it will zip in. So Auntie Carol says baby oil or alcohol wipes with a little cloth will get that residue off the needle. So thank you for that. And I actually do have some alcohol. So I need to wipe mine down because literally right before we started, I started working on and almost finished it. I started working on another one. This is another one that I am making right now with this beautiful fabric. Isn't this beautiful? This is so beautiful. Another type of kind of Ankara inspired fabric, but I didn't get to finish it. Almost finished it, but didn't get to finish it in time. So, so you can, again, what I'm doing right now is now that I have installed that zipper on one side, I am literally going to make sure that it can zip, and it does. It zippins up without any problem, and you can see how that just fits on there like so perfectly. And you can see it goes right up to that line. So you want to make sure again that it fits on there, and it does. So then the next thing you're going to do is you are going to attach it to the other side. So this is the part where it does help a little bit if you do a basting stitch, because the benefits of a basting stitch is that you know your two pieces of fabric are lining up exactly how they are supposed to line up. So you don't have one up here and one down here a little bit. So you do just want to make sure that one, you are lining up the fabric before you I guess finalize that stitch, because you don't want your fabric to be you know, not lined up. So you want to make sure that you line up the tops of your fabric or the bottoms of your fabric before you start sticking it on. And so I typically pick one or the other, the top or the bottom. And again, this is where a basting stitch will, you know, make it a little bit, it'll make it so you don't have to worry about that lining up issue. But yeah, I take it off just a little bit. I'll take that tape off just a little bit. Not take off the whole thing. I just take off like a little teeny bit and fold it down. And then I line up the bottom, or you can do it at the top. It doesn't matter, but I line it up. So I'm lining up the bottom of the top side that I already applied the zipper with the other side to make sure that they're fully lined up. And then I apply the zipper on there. And once you have one little piece done, you can literally take off your zipper tape. I'm sorry, the zipper tape. You can take it off and you can start, you know, applying your zipper, because you know it's going to be lined up at that point. And so that's pretty much what I'm doing now. So it's not difficult. It's just another thing you want to be mindful of if you don't use the basting method. You also don't want to press it too much, because you might want to, you know, move it around a little bit. So you don't want to press it down too much, because it'll start to adhere to it to where you can't really pick it up and move it around the way you want to, if you need to. So that's just another thing to be aware of when you are using the zipper tape. And make sure your fingers and your zipper pull doesn't get stuck on there as well, because again, it's very sticky and that can happen. So I have it down, I have it lined up, and I just want to make sure that it is lined up the way that I want it to be. And on this side, I just want to move it in a little bit closer. So again, this is where I can move it around a little bit before I start really pressing it on there. And I'm going to show you in a minute what it will look like and how it's all lined up. Okay, here we go. So here is the other piece. You probably can't even tell which one. I can't even tell which one is on only with the zipper tape and which one is on with the, well, you probably can tell when you pull it a little bit. So this side is the side that I still have to zip. I have to sew down this one, because once I start pulling it, you can kind of see the zipper a little bit. So that's the side I have to sew down. So I'm going to unzipping this now. And I'm going to do literally the same thing we just did. Open up that half, that folded down part, put it under. Let me see. Thank you so much for all the likes. I appreciate that. And thank you for the gifts as well. And thank you all for the likes. Thank you for liking the video, because again, when you do that, it does alert people that we are here. We're here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold out the, open the teeth or fold it out. I'm going to take the needle and hand, make sure I'm getting in that little groove. There we go. And then I'm going to just take my time. And again, for those that aren't aware, I am using my edge foot to do this. I feel like it is letting me get really close without necessarily having to do that extra step of changing to my zipper foot, which is right here. So it just saves a little bit of time. And so I do have to go probably a little bit slower, but not much really, to be honest with you. Almost to the end. And then I didn't mention this before, but make sure that you do a little back stitch when you get to the end. And the last thing to do is just make sure that it's zipping, so that if you do need to do anything, like make an adjustment, move it out, you can do that. And just like that, we have our zipper installed. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It looks so good. And I'm, you can't see this, but I'm taking my hands and I'm pushing open the fabric, and it is not, oh, I guess I can hold it up like this. I'm pulling it. I'm doing some little bit of pull, so you can see that it is not, it's installed. So that was with a regular edge foot that we did that. So, okay. All right. So now we have installed the zipper. And then the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to literally attach the front to the back. And so here are my back pieces. So I'm moving my facing to the side. Here are my two back pieces, and we're going to make them right sides facing. So right sides facing, we are going to be attaching at the shoulders, and then at the sides, we are going to be attaching them. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm literally using my clips. You can use pins or clips. I prefer clips whenever I can. Sometimes you need to use a pin instead, but I'm using my clips to attach. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Lisa. Gaynell, welcome. Thank you all for being here. So again, we are doing a hack of Nikki from Beaute JaDore's 2016 Know Me pattern. We are creating a sleeveless V-neck crop top. And for those that were at the Chicago Fractals pre-boat party, it's the same pattern that I wore there. So that will give you a little bit of an idea of what it looks like. And I'm our new favorite word of the week is obsessed, that I also am making it in another Ankara fabric. So I didn't take my own advice, which is I went on ahead and put in these darts at the top shoulder of my front, and I really don't need them. So I am taking a couple seconds luckily they're just really quick. I'm taking a couple seconds to take it out because I realized that the front and the back actually do line up. I didn't think they would, but they do. So I'm just taking it out because it lines up. So I could have saved myself an extra step because I did all those darts before we started. And I'll have to do the same thing with the lining as well. Same thing on this side, just take out that little dart. And so we are going to, again, be sewing the front to the back bodice at the shoulders and then at the sides as well. So we're going to be doing 5/8 of an inch seam allowance is what we're going to be doing. Nikki talks about in some of hers where she uses 3/8 of an inch. What I will tell you is that you want to just make sure you're consistent, that whatever you use for your seam allowance, that you use it on both sides and on your lining / facing as well. So because you will be attaching those. And so you want to make sure that they are exactly the same. All right. So I got a couple other things I just want to, talk about. And I know like we've been talking about the Chicago Fractals like crazy over the last, like it's been, so it was on the 9th. So it's like literally been almost 2 weeks. And that just gives you any idea about how much fun we actually had there. I mean, it was so great. But I was so like excited about the way my garment actually turned out. And as you all know, sometimes it's just hit or miss. Like you put in all this work, particularly like I'm not a a school taught sewist. So, I'm really doing a lot of what I've learned from other sewists about how to like merge, different patterns together. And I'm always phoning a friend when I get stuck on something. So just creating the muslin, I will tell you, was like my best friend. That was my lifesaver. That really made all the difference in why my pattern, move this over, add to the stage. There you go. Why my my garment ended up turning out. I'm just so happy with it. And so I, as you all know, I made a wearable muslin because I think I did share that on one of these live sew-alongs that we had. And so I'm going to be doing, I think, the same thing with my Baltimore Fractals outfit. Baltimore is my city, so I definitely feel like I raised the bar with Chicago, and so I got to raise it even more. And so I'm definitely going to be sharing more about like what what I'm wearing, what the design is going to be. I have some ideas. In fact, I'm almost done with what I'm doing. I now need to find patterns to match up with what I'm actually doing. So that's going to be the next thing. So I think I'm ready to share like what my inspiration is. So look out for that. I'm going to talk about it, create a video, and talk about my inspiration. For those that aren't aware, the Baltimore Fractals theme is maximalism. So it's like do it big, find something you like, and then find ways to like level it up a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So I'm so excited about that because it really gives me the opportunity to do what I want to do how I want to do it. So at one point in time, I would have been really scared to not have like a real specific like theme. That would have like freaked me out. Like, what am I gonna do? But I that just shows how much I'm growing in my sewing career, if you want to call it that. Because that doesn't scare me at all. I'm actually like really excited about the opportunity to kind of do it the way I want to do it. But even more, I'm excited to see how other people kind of how they see maximalism. Like, what do they do? How do they bring it? So I'm really excited. People at the Chicago Fractals, like so many people did their thing. They like really just took it to the next level. And for me, I knew a lot of people just because of what people were sharing. I knew that they were going to be wearing like, I don't want to call it glam because that's definitely not the right word, but more dress, more like, upscale, like really like I'm from money kind of thing, which is great. I mean, people were so beautiful, amazing. It was just so awesome. But I just thought to myself, like, I want to be a little bit different and I also saw like a lot of people were doing things that I would have wanted to do. So I would have looked very similar, I think, to a lot of my favorite sewists. So I was like, I got to find a way to do something a little bit different. So that jumpsuit and going with something like a little bit more, I don't know, like, not as like upscale, I thought would be a way to kind of, separate myself or distinguish myself. So I was excited again about how it turned out. And then of course you all probably heard, you all know that I will end up wearing a wig because of course I really wanted to embody Billie Holiday. And so I had the gardenias in my hair because that was one of her signature things. And, she used to smoke. So I had, a cigarette because she did smoke. And so I was just really trying to like embody who she was, during that time and what she wore. And of course she wore tons of glamorous things. So she was definitely a fashionista in her own right, and definitely paved the way. But she also was somebody who was an everyday person and would wear, kind of less glamorized clothes. And so I found something that she wore to a club. Well, I found a picture or in a video from when she did the movie, when they remade the movie or made the movie Billie Holiday versus the United States, when she was sued over her song Strange Fruit, which was about slavery. She went to a club one day and sung, and she had on this orange jumpsuit. And I thought, that's it. That's me. That's what I'm wearing. So I am looking for that same type of inspiration as well. Let's see, the design lined up perfectly. Yes, it did. Let me look at that. Oh, it did. Look at that. I didn't even realize that. Look. So Miss Tata said the design line. Oh, here, this is the other side. Lines up perfectly. And it really did. So let me tell y'all, I did not intend that. I did not practice that. I did not do anything to make that happen. But look at that. I mean, I'm so proud of that. Thank you for pointing that out, Miss Tata, because I did not even realize. Look. Okay, I'm like totally obsessed with this whole thing. Okay, and I'm showing you upside down. Okay, so the front, here we go. Do I have my other dress form? I do. Y'all know I love a good dress form moment because I love to show y'all what it's going to look like. So let me put Maxine. This is Maxine. I got to get Maxine I think I'm going to find some clothes to put on her or some kind of way to distinguish her. This is Maxine. So all of my dress forms and my sewing machines are named after the Black TV attorneys. So this is Maxine Shaw, attorney at law. Okay, so here we go. This is the back. So we have put together, this is the back where the zipper is. You could see how that all, let me remove this so you can see. So this is the back where the zipper is, and this is the front. where we will have the V-neck. This is where the V-neck will be. And then of course we're going to put a band down the bottom to give us a little bit more coverage than what this gives us. So here we go. This is what we've done so far. And so now we are literally going to do the same thing. Well, not the same exact thing. We are going to do attaching the front bodice to the back bodice at the shoulder and the side seams. And we're doing that with our facing / lining pieces. So you are going to literally get your facing and lining pieces, which are 2 separate pieces. And you are going to attach them at the side seam, and you are going to attach them at the shoulder seams. And so the only thing you need to do is you need to, and I'm going to actually take out, remember I told you in the shoulder seams, I put these darts in and I don't need them. So I'm taking them out. The good news is that they're really small. So you just seam rip like 2 or 3 stitches and you can take them out. The other thing, which I did not do here, but it would be helpful if you're using woven fabric, and sometimes I do it, but I didn't do it today. So I'm gonna figure it out afterwards how I'm gonna handle it. But you need to use your pinking shears, or you need to serge the ends, the edges of this fabric. All of this fabric frays. It's not like horrible, but it will fray over time. And so if you want to preserve your work, then you definitely do want to do that, because that's one less thing you have to worry about when you do go to wash it. And like me, I wear my clothes a lot. So, hi, Coco. Yes, I'm excited to share them. Like, it's coming together, and I'm also going to do something different with my hair, not necessarily to the same extent, but it's got to be big. You know, it's got to be big. So I gotta go big. So I've got some ideas about what I'm gonna do with my hair. So I'm gonna share all of that. It's gonna be really no surprises other than what the final everything looks like coming together. So my thought was, let's get through this week, and then I'm gonna start like really share, because literally it's 6 weeks. Is it 6 weeks? Almost 6 weeks to go. It is August 3rd. So what is that? 8 days, 9, 10, 11, 5 weeks in July. So it's less than 7, more than 6 weeks to go. Less than 7, more than 6. So Coco T says, I'm still deciding what to wear, but should get my ticket first. Yeah, I still have to get my ticket. In fact, I'm getting 2 tickets because my significant other is going to be coming too. And so I'm getting 2 tickets. So I need to get my tickets. And the place that they're having it in, I went to other events there. I think it's a great venue. So I'm excited about that for us as well, that, you know, the people coming will have this awesome venue to be able to have our frocktails in. And I think this is Baltimore's first frocktails. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think it is. Hi, Mari, welcome. Thank you, Queen Chop. So this lining it's not a real lining. It is fabric leftover fabric that I used to make pants. The pants that I wore, I made McCall's 7757, the pants. And the top, I wore that last weekend for a date night. And I had this little bit left, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this. And it matches, you know, to some extent it matches. It's not an exact match, but you won't tell. It's on the inside. But I was excited that I had just enough to be able to make this lining. So I was excited about that. So again, I am just taking out those darts that I put in the top because I did not take my own advice, which is match up whether I needed it first before I sewed them in. And I did not need them. Did not need them. Okay, so there we go. So I don't know if you all got to see, pivoting a little bit different topic. Julian spent the week at the Bernina University and shared just like some awesome, what they have coming out in terms of their machines. And I thought it was really awesome that he, was one, able to go, that two, they have that for their ambassadors. And anybody who's worked with Julian, like he is one of the most knowledgeable people, not just about Bernina, but about sewing machines in general. Like he is somebody, like if I was on, what's that talk show where you get to like phone a friend, use a lifeline? If I was on a sewing talk show like that, like he would definitely be the person. I'd be like, look, I need you by the phone. I need you because I might need you. He knows everything about everything. In fact, we did on my YouTube page, we did a kind of, I don't know what, I can't remember what the topic was. I think it was the history of the sewing machine. And he just was like, he has this stuff really committed to memory. So if you haven't seen it, it's a great watch, a great video. I did when I was I feel like maybe I had been sewing about 6 months or so, maybe less. And Julian got on with me and we walked through. It was kind of like I interviewed him and he talked about the sewing machine. So I encourage you to watch that. I have it on my YouTube channel. It's a really great watch. I watched it again recently, or maybe a month or so ago. And I was like, oh yeah, we talked about a lot of really good stuff in here. So shout out to Julian. But anyway, he was at the Bernina University and they're coming out with some awesome new machines with a lot of new, features. But, one of the things that, again, I'm newer to the Bernina family. It's it's my second machine that I had. I had a Singer at first, and then I, invested in a Bernina. But I always thought they have these really expensive machines. But what we realize is that they do have machines that go along the range. And Bernina was one of the sponsors for not only the Chicago Fractals, but also was a sponsor for the pre-boat party. And they gave away both a sewing machine as well as a serger. And so again, just talk about investing back into the sewing community. We obviously spend a lot with investing in our sewing machines and all of our materials. So it's awesome when you have a brand that sees the value in the sewing community and is willing to give back and invest in the sewing community as well. So that was really awesome. I don't think I won, but I wanted to win. I wanted to win everything. We had so many great giveaways there. Auntie Carol said, yes, that was stellar. It really was. It was really, that's as I think about where I'm spending my dollars, I'm also thinking about who's giving back to our sewing community. So it was good to see that they value what all that we give and we contribute, and was wanting to show their appreciation by giving to our sewing community. So I was really impressed by that. And I'm trying to think about remember who won. Auntie Carol, who won at Chicago Fractals? Who won was it the sewing machine? I think was at Chicago Fractals, and I think the serger was at the boat party. I think I got that right. But that is just so awesome. You go to Chicago Fractals, you come back with a sewing machine. How about that? How about that? That was awesome. Okay, I am just sewing right now my facing pieces. And this fabric is, it's a little soft fabric, so you gotta be a little careful with it. All right, let's see. Do I have that right? Yes, okay. I got nervous. I thought I did not stitch my right sides together. So again, it's right side together. Again, we are literally repeating the same steps that we did on our fabric with our facing / lining pieces. And I'm just having to be a little extra careful because this fabric is super slippery. And I want to make sure, one, it doesn't get sucked down into my machine. And two, that it all goes like really smoothly. And make sure you always do your back stitches. Hey, Tydree, welcome. Let's see, her name was Tammy. I am Tammy Fulton. Oh, okay. It was a surgery. She was crazy excited. I know she was. I would have been. Oh my goodness. I was like, the fact that they were giving it away just excited me. I wanted to win everything that was there. That is awesome. That is so awesome. I'm so happy for her. So happy for her. That is really awesome that she won that. Okay, last one. I am again just just stitching together. 5/8 of an inch seam allowance is what I am using. Can y'all see me? Oh, I don't put my thing on so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to, when we finish this, I'm going to have to wipe down my machine because I feel like it's a little fussing. It's fussing at me a little bit, probably from that glue tape, because I've been using it a lot lately. A lot. I hear my machine kind of making a little noises. Okay, almost there. And again, the fabrics that I'm using are woven. They don't really have any stretch to them. So they're not as forgiving as the woven. Okay, so we have our lining, our right side and our left side lining. And now we are going to connect our lining / facing to our actual fabric. Here we go. So literally, I think what I'm going to do, it's right sides facing. So I am literally going to, here's my dress form, and I am taking my lining / facing, and I am just laying it right over top. And what we are going to be doing is we are going to be attaching our lining and our facing from the front, going all the way up to this top part, so around the neck. So it's the neck all the way down the front. Just one single stitch is what we're doing. And what I want to tell you is that this is an important part. Let me just turn this around. This is an important part. So this is the part where you get to decide how low your V goes, right? So the way you're going to decide that is you're going to start stitching where you want your V to start. You're going to leave this bottom part open. If you want your V to come down really low, then you're going to start your stitch. You need to leave at least an inch down at the bottom. So you're going to start your stitch where you're attaching your facing to the fabric at least an inch from the bottom. If you want your V to come up really high, then you're going to start it up high. I am going to do about 4 inches. So I'm going to, and when I take it off this dress form out, actually, I think I have my ruler out. This is why I love getting rulers, because you always need them for something. Well, I have this one, but this is not the one I was looking for. But basically, you can take and you can go 4 inches from the bottom, which will put me right here. And I'm just going to mark it with some chalk. So my first stitch is going to go about right there. And I'm going to show you what that will do, just pretending before we stitch it together. And I'm going to use a pin to demonstrate. So I'm lining that up. And this is where I'm going to start my stitch right here. That's going to be my first stitch as I'm stitching this all together. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Again, right sides together. So you're going to see the wrong side of your facing lining facing out. So I'm going to, again, measure it 4 inches from the bottom, which will put me about right here. And then I'm going to take this and just make a little mark there. Oops. If I can get my chalk in there. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to put my lining or facing piece over it, line it up from the bottom, and then I'm going to put a pin, right, so that tells me where I'm going to start sewing. Okay, so now that I've marked that, what's going to happen is once we stitch all of this together, we are then going to come back and stitch these 2 pieces together. And I'm going to show you how to do that. That's going to be like one of the last steps that we do before we put our waistband on, or the band around it. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to create this so that it doesn't open. It's going to close your V up a little bit. And so the higher you start, the less V that you are going to have. So if you want just like a little teeny V there, then you would start all the way up here, because you're going to attach these, create a straight stitch down and attach it. So for me, I am doing about 4 inches. So it's literally going to be here. I'm going to like probably start like right here. So it's not going to go all the way down to the bottom of the crop part. It's going to go here. So to just give you a little bit of an example, the one that I wore to the boat party, I did 2 inches. So it had a lot more cleavage. It's not a whole lot, but it had a lot more cleavage. So again, I'm doing this one at 4. It's really personal preference, how much you want to show. But this is the part where you make that decision about how much cleavage do you want to show, or how low do you want your V to go. You're going to do it here, and that is where you're going to start your stitch. So again, I did mine 4 inches. You want to make sure it's the same on both sides, because you will be attaching all those pieces. And then you're going to literally clip or pin the remainder of your facing to your fabric. And you'll just line up your seams, open up your seam allowance, line it up. And this is probably actually where it's probably easier to use a pin to line up the seams. And by sticking that pin right through, and I'm short, so it's harder for me to see up here, but I'll fix it before I go under the sewing machine. And then you're gonna go again, you're gonna fold out that zipper tape, and you're gonna go literally straight across. So it's just 1 stitch. And you're going to go to the end of that. You're literally going to go from this neckline, the edge, you're going to stitch all the way around, across the shoulder, and then down to wherever you said you want to stop. You're going to do that. And then you will do the same thing on the other side. Again, lining up those raw edges. Lining up your seams. And oh, I got a pen right here. And then the last part is just lining up that rest of that neckline. Folding out, you got to fold out your zipper tape because you want to go all the way around like that neckline. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is take your garment off, and we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to sew on. Lay this down. And pick up Maxine. Maxine Waters, attorney at law. We're going to move her to the side a little bit while we stitch this on. Let's see who's here. Hi, Jay. Am I saying it right? Tell me if I am. Give me my phonetic spelling so I can get it right from now on. Welcome. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all the likes and the gifts on TikTok. And thank you so much for all the likes and shares on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Appreciate that. It's definitely helping because I see it growing. More and more people are coming on. Okay, so here we go. We are going to be doing our stitching now. Again, this is right sides together, and we are stitching our facing to our fabric. Remember, we are starting wherever, when we open it back up, I have my pen here to tell me like, okay, this is where I'm starting. I'm actually leaving it on just so I don't forget. And I'm also doing, so I'm going to do this part around, I am actually going to do, I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch around my V and neck instead of 5/8 of an inch. I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch. Give me 1 second while I plug in. I am just plugging in my iPad so it doesn't die. That would be devastating. There we go. I don't want to lose anybody. And okay, that one's that. Let's see, what's this guy? Okay. All right, there we go. So that's charging. That's good. And that is good. Okay, I think we're good to go. And this is good. So let me take this out. Put this one over. Okay, there we go. So now that's charging. And that's good. That's charging. That's charging. That's charging. That's good. Okay, here we go. So now we are getting ready to stitch. So I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And here we go. And again, I'm just attaching my lining to my facing to my fabric. All right, so anybody working on anything, any kind of sewing projects this weekend? Drop it in the chat. What are you sewing? I will tell you. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about. So while we're waiting for people to kind of share what they're working on, which I'm excited to know, I am so excited by the challenges that are going on. I don't know if you all have been seeing, the sewing community is like super engaged right now, which I'm just loving all of it. Like, time is not on my side. If I had time, let me tell you, I would be like doing a little bit of everything. But I'm definitely part of the reason. Well, I already had New Look like on my New Look pattern that I wanted to do. I had it on my radar. I ordered it a while ago and was like, okay, I'm going to do this pattern. And then, of course, I got expedited by the challenge, the New Look Hot Girl Summer Challenge. And I don't know if you guys got to see, but some of our favorite sewists are out here like doing their thing with this Hot Girl Summer challenge. Rochelle, I think, is the one that kind of created the challenge. So I reached out to her. I said, hey, I want to participate because, of course, I already made one of my new look garments. I'm making one more thing. She said it's 2 garments. Post them by June 30th. And I think you got to tag. I think you tag Hot Girl Summer, and I think you tag. I think it's hashtag Hot Girl Summer, and I think you also tag Rochelle. But go to her page, go to her YouTube, go to her Instagram for more of the details, because so that's one thing that's going on. And then there is another challenge that is, I think it starts June 30th, and it's like a hackathon. I'm gonna call it a hackathon. That is not probably the right name, but it's basically you have like, I think it's like 8 or 10 of our ladies from our sewing community. They are going to be hacking, you know, various patterns to kind of inspire us, and then other people can hack. And so, you know, with one thing we do in the sewing community is we gonna hack a pattern. That's what we definitely gonna do. So I'm excited to see, and I'm probably 9 times out of 10 going to be doing that one as well, because guess what? Like almost every pattern that I create, I'm hacking it because I have a different vision for how I think it's going to look best on me. So I feel like I'm going to be doing that one as well. But are any of you all participating in either one of those challenges? Black Sewing Network said the hashtag is Pattern Hackathon. That's the one that starts June 30th. And then there's also, I think it's the Black Sewing Network's challenge, or is it Black Sewing Network and Sorority Wear? Correct me if I'm wrong, which is the pattern challenge where I think you have until June 30th as well to do a pattern with the Black designer. And so that's another. So just think like if you want to join multiple, you can look at all the details of those and, you know, use New Look and do it in a designer from a Black, pattern from a Black designer. Okay. So the Black designer pattern challenges, the hashtag is BSN Juneteenth. So you could do that. So you could literally do one pattern and make one thing and really be doing all of those, potentially all those challenges. So that is that. So those 3 challenges are going on either as we speak. The Juneteenth challenge is going on now through June 30th. Oh, it's extended to July 7th. Okay, so the BSN Juneteenth challenge, where you pick any Black designer and you create a garment, bag. Is it bags too? I think I know a garment. We'll see if there's bags are included as well. But you pick a Black designer, you create something, and you post it and hashtag BSN Juneteenth by July 7th. Then you will be eligible for that challenge. And then there is also the Pattern Hackathon, which you basically hack a pattern, and they have some rules and definitions like what constitutes a hack. It's not just an adjustment, but there is something like you are removing the sleeves, similar to what we're doing today. This would be an example of a hack. Or making some type of change to the original design of the pattern that would qualify as a hack, and you are hashtagging Pattern Hackathon. And then what was the other one I mentioned? Oh, Hot Girl Summer. So Hot Girl Summer is going on through June 30th. So and you are using a New Look pattern for that. So again, there's 3 challenges. Again, and I'm sharing this with you all because, as you can see on my face, I'm like extremely excited and motivated by all of the challenges that our sewing community has going on, ways to get people engaged and sew. And just, again, I'm so excited by all of the energy that is in the sewing space right now. And so if you were looking for a time to get inspired, now is that time, because the ladies and gents, so not just ladies, the ladies and gents are out here doing the most in a good way. Gail Yvonne says, hello, I will look for the challenges you mentioned. I'm using a favorite go-to pattern, Simplicity 2372, white linen pants and jacket. Okay. So that pattern, I'm trying to think about, so you could definitely use that pattern for the hackathon for sure. And so think about like what hack do you have a hack that you do to that favorite kind of tried and true pattern that you use, Gail? Or do you have to think about a hack that you want to do? Thank you, Tyja. I hope I said that right. Tyja. That's a beautiful name. All right, so now I am sewing the second side on. Again, this is the facing being attached to the fabric is what I'm doing right now. And I'm doing it again at 3/8 of an inch, so a little bit less than what I have done with the other parts. So yeah, let me know what you're working on. I thought somebody had, oh yeah, so Lisa said she is working on Simplicity 9740, a simple knit dress by Mimi G. So look, you know we love a simple knit dress. Knits are our go-to. And again, with this hot weather, you definitely need something that's light, flowy, and you don't want to be working so hard. So that sounds like an awesome idea. Anybody else working on anything this weekend? So I'm planning on, y'all know, I think last week when I was on with, I think it was last Sunday. It was last Sunday when I was on with Black Sewing Network Sunday service. I was sewing my my all white McCall 7757, and I got to wear the top, but I did not get to wear the pants. So I have since washed it all and plan to wear it probably tomorrow. I'm thinking it is, when I tell you it's so cute, it is so cute. I really like it a lot. The fabric is so cute. So Auntie Carol, I don't know if you're still on, but this is the fabric that you helped me pick out when we were in Atlanta at the So Much Talent retreat. I finally got it. I still have fabric from that retreat that I have not used. So I was happy to start using some of those fabrics. And that was one of them. And I had no idea it was going to be such a cute, beautiful, great fitting fabric. I love it. Okay, so now we have attached our fabric to our lining. It is attached. And so the next step is really we could cut off this little extra piece. So this is my zipper tab, the extended part. So I'm gonna cut that off of both sides. Okay, so then the next thing is to unzip, which I kind of already did, unzip it. But we are going to go down the sides. So I need to unzip in this all the way. So, okay, let me show you what I did so far so you can see what I'm going to do next. I'm just putting this on the dress form just for demonstration purposes. Can you see? Can you see? Okay, good. So here is what we've done. We have attached our lining or facing to our fabric, and this is right now it is facing, its wrong sides facing out. So this is the wrong side and these are right sides facing each other. So the next step is to unzip in this. So I need to pull it down. You want to go lower than the fabric itself. You're going to fold out the zipper. And now we're going to stitch all the way down, making sure that we get as close to the teeth as possible, but not going through the teeth. We're going to be attaching, again, the lining to this piece. So you want to, again, get close to the teeth as possible, but not go through the teeth. And the best way to do that, and you can see my lining is a little bit extended out here. Probably I just overcut it. So I will get, you know, that part will come off after I stitch it together. But I'm just going to clip it while I have it on this dress form. Sometimes I feel like it's easier to do it because you know everything is laid out this way. So you're going to literally go from the top all the way down as close again to the zipper T. So you will need to take your time. And this is what we're doing here in this step. Again, you're folding it out, folding out your zipper, and then you're attaching your facing or lining. Is that we're literally enclosing our zipper inside, because then we're going to turn this to the other side. So we are like close to done. We got to still put on our bias tape and then put on the bottom. Let me see how long we've been going. Oh my goodness, we're not even at 2 hours yet. So we are making really great time, especially considering all of the explanations and talking that we're doing. I'll tell you, like, sewing while you're on live does take a little bit longer. So what I will say is, however long it takes us to do this, which it shouldn't take us too long, because again, our goal is to kind of be under 3 hours. That's our new goal. I think that encourages people to sew along and picking projects that are under 3 hours. Helps with that. But just know when you sew it on your own, especially after having watched us do this, it's going to take you less time, because you're going to know, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. So I have, again, zipping this down, and let me just make sure. Nope. I get nervous about this zipper when I'm doing this. Okay, zipping it down, and now I am going to just stitch that together. Again, this is right sides facing each other, and now we are zipping. We're going to stitch down this part. And we still have this front part is still open, because again, we still have to attach that. So all I'm doing is move Maxine out of the way. Maxine gets in the way sometimes. Okay, here we go. So I'm just getting close to my zipper teeth, and then I'm just going to sew straight down. My machine is mad at me. Y'all hear it making all that noise? It said, you have got that tape on me. And I'm guilty, because I'm giving you the advice that I have not taken myself, which is to wipe it down or change the needle after using the tape. Okay, and now I'm going to do the other side. Same thing. And all I'm doing is just going straight down, making sure I get as close to the teeth as possible, but not going through them. Go and make sure you back stitch. right, and there we go. I just need to rethread my machine. So then after you do that, you are going to turn your fabric over to the other side. I mean, turn your garment right side facing out. I might need to change my needle. It sounds like a boxing match is going on. I have some background noise. I don't know if you all can hear that, but it definitely sounds like a boxing match. I didn't hear. I love boxing. I haven't heard anything about a boxing match, but I also have been out of the loop for a bit for this weekend. Okay, so we have now finished and now we are going to turn this right side facing out. And this would be a great time to press everything. To make sure it all lays down the way you want it to. And you can remove your pen also at this point. This would be a great time to press it. Use your point turner, which we got some at Frocktails. Turn this one. Sorry, let me turn you all around. Hi, Miss Crafty Creations. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Happy Friday. So again, our front is still open. Again, this is the time where it would be a great time to kind of press it using a real, not just your little iron, but a, real iron. This would be that perfect time to press it so then you get to really see, like, hey, how is this going to look? And I'm going to put this on our dress form so you all can see. This is the back. Okay, here we go. So this is the back. And you can see it's now all, the lining is inside, so the zipper is completely enclosed in the lining. Completely enclosed. And not only that, around your neck is all finished, because again, this is your facing, so it's finishing. All of your neck is now all finished. Everything is going to be finished. Oh, guess what I did? I stitched this all the way down, and so I'm gonna have to take that out because I didn't heed my own thing, which is stop at the pen. I took the pen out and took it all the way to the end. So I'm going to take that out. But you should have a little flap that is open, a little part, because we're going to sew that together. But again, this is where you would press it out so you could see how it's all going to like fit together. Look at that. So this is like 99% of our crop top. Again, we just have to put our band at the bottom. And the other thing that you could do, I encourage you to do like a 1-inch band. You could make a longer band to go at the bottom as well. And just know that because of the way this crop top is, the band is going to also follow that same. So it's going to come up a little bit as well. So just know that it'll come up a little bit and go around. So I'm going to seam rip this up 4.5 inches because of course I stitched it. But you get the idea of what it looks like. This is the inside of it, just so you can see how clean the inside is. So that's the inside. Here's the outside back. Okay, so what I'm going to do really quick is I did mark this. Thank goodness I marked it with my chalk so I know exactly what I need to pick apart. Where is my marking? Now I'll just remeasure it. Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it. And then the only other thing I have to do is just do a reinforcement stitch in there. So I'm just taking out that 4 inches. And which is the hardest thing to do when you have your thread matches your fabric exactly. So I'm doing it from the other side because I'm like, okay, now I can see I have a little bit. Hi, Anna. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So for those, I know we talk about this, but I'm just going to reiterate it again. Anna just joined us on YouTube. She's here, and Anna is one of the owners of Big Matte Rotary Cutting Surface. It's the best mat that you could ever own. I got one early in my sewing journey, and let me tell you, it is amazing. It's a game changer. Like I have one that covers this whole desk area. I also have a smaller one. Like my only regret is that I can't pack it up and take it with me everywhere I go. Like I literally was traveling this week, and when I got to my hotel room at night, I brought patterns with me to cut out while I was there. And I was thinking I had to cut it the old fashioned way with some scissors. So, you know, that's not my favorite thing, especially because I have been spoiled by the big mat. Again, it's just like, can you imagine like being able to cut and you don't even have to apply pressure? You just like, it's awesome. It is really awesome. So if you don't have one, I think it's like the official cutting mat of Black Sewing Network. So if you don't have one, you definitely want to invest in one. It is just awesome. Like I said, I've had them forever, and it's not the first mat that I started with, but it's like it was a game changer. Like to go. In fact, my mat that I had, I felt like I bought it and like immediately it only worked the first time that I used it, and then after that, it just really didn't cut. That was and like no matter how much pressure I put, it was not cutting. And then I got Anna's mat, and it's like ever since then, I'm like, it's just great. So Anna, thank you for having such a great mat. Like, thank you. And women-owned business. So of course, you know, we always got to support women-owned, you know, businesses. Love that. But it's easy to do when you have a product that is like so amazing, right? So thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I think if you came to Chicago Fractals, I think there was a coupon in our, correct me if I'm wrong, did I get that right, Auntie Carol, Anna? I think there was a coupon in our gift bag. So if you attended Fractals and you don't have a mat, now you really got extra incentive to get yourself a mat, because I'm almost certain there was a coupon in there. Like, I feel like maybe it was in my brain, maybe I saw it, but I feel like there was one. Either way, it's worth every penny, every single penny. It is worth it. All right, here we go. So I am just going to do a quick reinforcement stitch, and then I'm going to talk to you about connecting your V at the bottom. So quick reinforcement stitch. We don't want our garments falling apart. So I'm just going to go back and forth really quick. Okay, so now we are putting our V together. And the way we are going to put our V together is we are going to literally take our, we're going to take our fabric piece, our two pieces, and we're going to put them right sides together. We're going to open them up. So remember, I had mentioned you didn't start your stitching when you were connecting the lining or facing to the fabric until wherever you wanted your V to start. And so you're going to have this little slit open, and it can be as, oh, the night cruise coupon. Okay, thank you. So Black Sun Network said if you attended the night cruise, the pre-event, then you have a coupon for the big matte rotary cutting surface mats. Again, I'm not getting paid. I'm just telling you what it is. It's the best mat. It's worth every penny and then some, because it's not only going to save you time. It's just great. I'm just telling you. Okay, so here we go. Back to our sewing, our next step. So you're going to take this. This is your little V that you have, the part that you did not connect. And so you're going to have yours could be as small as an inch because you want to leave at least an inch, or it could be as wide as, you know, wherever you want your V to start. If you want your V to start all the way up here, then you might have this big long part that is going to be open. So you're going to take that. And this is, you know, again, what you're looking at, what is facing you is the right side of that V on one side of the garment. Then you're going to take the other side. Here's the other side of it. And you're going to match it, the other right side of that V. And they should both be the same length because you should have measured them. And you are, again, right sides together. You're going to pin these. You are going to pin these or clip them, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use pins. So you're going to pin. And what we're doing right now is we are literally connecting that down stitch that is going to pull our two pieces together. And then you are going to, and I'm going to also use 3/8 of an inch seam allowance for this part as well. And I'm not using clips. See, I'm so used to using clips. That's my go-to grab. So you're going to clip all of the fabric together. Then you're going to go right across and just clip or pin all of the lining together. And again, it should line up because you should have it, you know, the same on both sides. So it should line up. Oh, Quana said, I will be ordering one very soon. Oh, you absolutely, like, tell me what you think. Like, you know what? I would put like money on it that it's the best. That's how confident I am in these mats. Like, it's just great. They are so great. Okay, so here you go. This is what it looks like. This is the part that we are connecting. This is the lining. This is the fabric pieces. It literally is going to be like a straight. You are literally going to just go straight across. 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, straight across. The other thing that you could do, and what I will probably do, is you can do your fabric piece and go right all the way up to that edge of your fabric. You do have to get close, otherwise you're going to have a little hole in there. And then you're going to do the same thing with your lining piece. Go all the way up to the edge of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I feel like that is a little bit easier because you do have these two pieces that meet and you have this extra little seam allowance there. Not a huge deal. It's going to be on the inside that these pieces will be facing each other when you pull it down. But you do want to make sure that you get very close. So the other option is, again, within your seam allowance to just go straight down. All right, here we go. We are now creating our V. Where are we? Okay, we are just now at the 2-hour mark. So we are doing great. And I'm doing 3/8 of an inch seam allowance also on this part as well. go to the last little section of the fabric. And then if you do 2 stitches, you make sure you do a back stitch. Uh-oh. So my fabric did not. Oh, it came out my needle. So I got to refred my needle. Oh, I'm going to put this on here so you all can see. Hi, Survivor. Welcome. Thank you again for all of the likes and all of the roses, the shares. I appreciate it. You all are on it. Like, happy Friday. Happy Friday. This is a great Friday because you all are like on fire today. I feel the love. All right, here we go. One more time for good measure. All right, here we go. And 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, a little back stitch to start, and then a back stitch at the end. Okay, there we go. It's like, what's happening? And so now I am going to, my machine is not happy with me, but we're going to make it through this and then I'm going to give it a thorough wipe down. Because we are almost to the end. Okay, so I'm doing the same thing on the lining side. And I'm just taking out these pins because it's going to be easier to hold this lining in place with my fingers. 3/8 of an inch seam allowance is what I'm working with. Here we go. Make sure your raw edges are lined up. Make sure that you are also doing a little back stitch at the end. All right, so this is what it looks like when you have finished stitching it together. And then you are going to, this is what it will look like. This, and I'll put it on our garment. So you can, I'll put it on Maxine so you can see. What the V will look like when the lining is completely finished or sewn in from the bottom. And again, I haven't pressed this, so it'll lay a little bit more at the top. Though it looks pretty good right now, it'll lay more, and it'll lay more in this V. So this is it. You've created your front piece. Here you go. This is it. And this is what it'll look like once you have sewn it together. And again, it's the same thing on the inside. You have your V there. And So the last two steps that we have are to put our bias tape on our armholes, and to put our band at the bottom. Now, what I would encourage you when you are putting on your bias tape is I would encourage you to do a basting stitch around your armhole first to hold your lining or your facing and your fabric together. So I would encourage you to do like a basting stitch close within the seam allowance so that you are holding those pieces together before you attach your bias tape. I'm going to do it on one arm so you'll be able to see, like, and there's a couple of different ways that you could do the bias tape. You could do it so that the tape is folded all the way in. You can do it the way that I typically do it, which is where my tape is on the outside so you see it. I have a single fold black bias tape because I feel like it's a great accent. It'll be a great accent for this. So I'm going to do it on one arm so that you can see. And then the last thing that we are going to do is we're going to put on our band. And so for the band, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Looking for my band fabric because I was debating whether to use black or to use the same coordinating color, and I feel like the black takes away from it, but I don't know. I decided to go with the color fabric in this last minute, so I'm cutting that quickly as we speak. So give me 1 second. All right. So what I asked everyone to do is to do 2.5 inches, your waist length, width, circumference is probably the best, plus 1 inch. That way you have room for your seam allowance. So what we're going to do here is literally just like how you do any other band for pants, skirt, top, anything you put a band on, is you're going to fold it in half, right sides together. And the main reason for this is to really just add a little bit of length to it and also to have it be a finishing piece. Remember, this garment was made to be connected to another, a skirt or bottom. And even in the Kika Vargas top, she has like a little flounce that goes around the bottom part. So again, it's your waist circumference plus and at least 1 inch. And so what I'm doing now is I'm folding it in half, and then we're going to stitch it together or you know what, actually I did not do that. I did it differently. Sorry, scratch that. We're going to fold it long ways and attach it here and then fold it in half. So that way it's making basically a circle. And I just want to make sure also You also want to make sure, and you might need to take your, so like this is going to be a little bit too big, so I'm going to cut some of this off. There we go. All right, so now that I have my piece, I'm going to take it right sides together, and I'm going to attach, I'm going to stitch it here 5/8 of an inch, or 5/8 of an inch is what I'm going to do, because I know it's a little bit bigger than my waist. Make sure you back stitch. All right. And I'm just going to make another little cut to this because I cut it really quick. So, hi, Denise. Hey, Julian. I was talking about you. I was talking about your amazing experience at the Bernina University. All right, I'm just evening this out because I cut it really quick with my rotary cutter on my mat. Okay, there we go. So now it's the same size. And I'm just going to press open my seam and then fold it in half, right sides together. What I love about Ankara is it does really well. Is it over, Julian? Was today the last day? Or are they going to, I guess it would be, it's Friday. They probably won't have you there through the weekend. Okay, so now I am folding it together, wrong sides together. So the right side is facing out. Okay, it's over. It looked like it was fun. You all shared, I was like, you all shared a lot with us. I was tuned into your stories and your page, like watching all that was going on, and really excited about all the new machines and the features. I was sharing with everyone earlier about how, you know, Bernina and Burnett, you know, gave a sewing machine away and a serger away for the Chicago Frock Tales and Pre-Party, and how they are, you know, that shows a lot they're willing to reinvest into the sewing community. Just so amazing that they would be doing that. So here is your band. And so again, this is the part that I'm going to really just reiterate something that I shared earlier, which is, you know, again, this is a woven. It is not, it has no flexibility to it. So when you are attaching this band, it's going to be like extremely important that you're able to either have some stretch in your fabric so you can get into it, or like I said, we're taking our zipper like all the way to the bottom. This band is, so it allows us to like really open this up so you can get it over your head. Like you have all of this room to kind of get it on. So I'm reiterating that, because if you decide to use a woven and you have like broad shoulders, or you are not, you know, because not only is it open, in this case, mine is open in the back, but it's also, you know, you have your V in the front. All of that helps you to be able to kind of get it over your head. But if you have any concerns that you won't be able to, you want to either think about using a separating zipper so you can completely just have it separate, or use a more stretchier, you know, fabric. And I would encourage you to, and this is not just with this garment, it's really with any garment that you might create, because you just don't want to invest all this time and then not be able to, you know, not be able to wear it. So anyway, I'm gonna take this off our dress form. And oh, I'm zipping this. So this is also the part where we are going to be eliminating this tail of our zipper as well. If you have a smaller zipper, then you have less that you can get rid of, or you may not have to get rid of anything at all. I'm just going to zip in this up. So this is that part where you're going to cut off your zipper if you need to. You may not need to do this. And I'm going to turn it right side out, make it a little bit easier. I wish I had a smaller zipper, then I wouldn't even have to do this part. But for those that do, or if you use zipper by the foot, you know, you might be doing something similar at the bottom to deal with your extra zipper. So you want to make sure that your zipper pull is up so it doesn't fall off and you don't have to deal with that part of it. You're going to cut off your bottom of your zipper. And this is where you make sure you don't want to make sure you're not cutting into your fabric, but and so this is the part where you can either do a couple of stitches across, or, and I'm saying I can't really do that now. I wanted to do like a crossover, create like a little V to cross it over, but I can't really do it because my facing is attached really close, so I can't really do it. So the best thing to do is you can do it a little bit down, because again, you're going to have, you can tuck it into your waistband. So I'm just going to wrap it and then go across it with my sewing machine and then cut off the excess. And I'll show it to you when I'm finished so you can see exactly what I did. But all you're doing is really creating a little stop so your zipper pull doesn't come off. But it's not going to come off anyway because it's going to be stopped by your waistband that you're going to attach. And these kinds of zippers, these invisible zippers, these, I guess, number 5 zippers, you can definitely sew over. It's not going to mess up your needle or anything like that. Okay, so I went over it a couple times, and then I'm just going to cut off this excess zipper and zipper tape. And I did do a back stitch as well, just to make sure it doesn't come loose. And I'll just show you. So this is kind of, it's not the prettiest, but you're not going to see it. It'll be inside of the waistband. And then this is your, not last step, because we're going to do one. We're going to do one bias tape, so you'll be able to see that as well. So, okay, here's my waistband that I'm putting on. I did measure, do like a mock measure and make sure that it will fit around. You have one seam in this particular waistband, so usually I'll line it up with my seam like to my back. And you're going to just line up those raw edges, because it's raw edge to raw edge. And there's multiple ways that you can put on a waistband, but I'm putting mine to the inside. And I'm basically clipping the raw edges so that the stitch will be on the inside. So when you have the finished garment, it's going to look like this. So you'll just see the seam from the outside, if that makes sense. So I'm going to clip it and then I'll show you that part. Where's my lining? Okay, here we go. Oh no, here we go. I'm going to start from this part. Start from the back. It also might help to do a basting stitch to just keep your lining all lined up. You don't have to do that, but it would make it probably a little bit easier if you did do it. Okay. All right, so all I'm doing right now, let me see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I'm so glad you were there, Anna, so you can respond to that. So for those that are interested in ordering the Big Mat, Anna said that, you know, there is a link in her bio. So if you are interested, oh, so don't do what I did. I let my thing come unfolded. Again, this is where basting stitches are really helpful because you do have several layers. You have your band is 2 layers, and then you have your lining or facing and your fabric. And I was literally clipping this on without making sure I had all my layers. So you should have 4 layers. Again, basting stitches do help kind of keep all this stuff together. Keep all your layers, I guess, together. So that's another thing that you could do. And I'm just opening my seams because I feel like it lets everything lay flat. So the seam between my lining and my fabric, I'm opening them up. So that's what you see me doing right now. Okay, so, and this is another place where I will probably end up serging this in the end. This part, particularly where this band is attached, because it'll just make it lay so flat. Take all that bulk out. So me leaving this, some of this is because I'm going to serge it afterwards just to make it lay all flat, but it's not going to be too bulky anyway. The fabric that I'm using is, as you can see, is really super thin. The lining is thin, or the facing fabric is thin, and the Ankara is really thin. It's not a heavy weight at all. All right, it's coming along. Coming along. We are very close to the end. Thank y'all for hanging in there, watching. Part of me wants to take this and make it, add the breast part at the bottom. I mean, I won't be doing it now, but that's how much. I'm going to probably try to see if I can reorder this fabric. Not that I need one more thing, because I feel like I have about 4 things that I will have made. I got the New Look shorts. I got this crop top. I got a dress, and potentially the McCall's. I got a Simplicity dress, and then the McCall's top that I want to make. Okay. So I feel like I have a little bit of extra room in my bodice. So I am going to, because I want all my room. So I'm going to like release my band a little bit. I have it at 5/8. I think I'm going to, let me see. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it at 1/4, just because it'll give me a little bit more a little bit more room, because again, this is woven. So I'm just going to put that stitch in place. And then I'm going to seam rip this one. Just to give it, open it up a little bit more. The other thing you could do, I'm not doing it in this one, but some people like that elastic. You could use elastic in here as well. In your band, you could put elastic in it just to give you a tighter around the waist while not losing any of your, you know, the room that you need to get it, this top on and off. I just love this fabric. Let's see. Oh, you said now that, yeah, Anna can cut down the mats. Definitely can. I have a really large one that's the size of my carpet on my floor. I gave her the measurements and they did that. And then I have two smaller ones. One that fits this size and then a smaller one than that. And I write on mine, like with erasable, you know, marker, like if I'm trying to take notes or something like that, or I want to remember something. I do all kinds of stuff with my mats. All right, let's see if I can pull this apart. No, that's that. Okay. All right, I'm just taking out this stitch. All right, there we go. I think we have, okay, there we go. Yes, there we go. Okay, it's all matching up. It's all matching. I'm just got to open up this seam so it lays flat. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to match it up with this seam and open up that. Finger press it a little bit so it lays flat, and then match it up to this seam. And there we go. And I'm just going to take these clips and clip it on all 4 pieces. All right. And now I am going to basically stitch all the way around. So the band is on the inside. And I'm going to stitch all the way around. Then the band is going to fold out like this so that you're not going to see that stitching. And this is, again, where I said a serger would be really good because you would literally just serge all the way around and it would cut off all that excess and lock it all in. But where I'm going to serge it, but it'll be after the fact. So for now, I'm going to put a stitch in and we're going to do that. And I'm going to do that at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance also, just so that I can have my band be a little bit wider so it doesn't take too much. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to do 4/8 of an inch because I do want to serge it. And I want to make sure I don't serge off my seam. So here we are. Let me just put that right there so you all can see. And Let me add this so you could see. There you go. So this is just, again, a really easy, or easy is not the right word. It's not too difficult. There are, like I said, the zipper is a, that's a more difficult skill. The outside of the zipper, I would say it doesn't take too long to make it. I would say you could probably pull this together in under 2 hours for sure. Where are we at? We're at 2:30 right now. So yeah, I still feel like you could do this in under 2 hours. Then just making sure that my seams are lined up as much as they can be. Sometimes they get off a little bit because the lining is a little bit looser, but for the most part, they are lined up pretty good. And making sure that all of my 4 layers are lined up. Almost there. Last part. Which one is this? This is my 8 or my 12? Okay, this is my 12. All right, last little piece. I'm connecting my entire okay. And let me just show you what that looks like. And again, this it will need to be pressed. Put it on Maxine. This is where I get nervous. Uh-oh, I might not be able to fit her on Maxine, my size 12. Let me see if I can get it on my 8. I didn't even try to fit my one that I made for frock tails on a dress form. Okay, here we go. This is no, am I not able to fit it on here either? Well, you might have to wait. Okay, here we go. I think we're getting it on. Okay, we got it on our 8. That makes me feel good. And I'm going to be able to get it on myself. Okay, can you all see? So this is where the band is. I don't know if you could see that. Let me take this off, move from stage. So I was debating about, initially I had a black band on here, but I just felt like it was too much because I am using black bias tape. Here's my black bias tape. But it's a single fold bias tape. And I am going to have it exposed just around here, but I didn't want it to be too much color block. So I used this same fabric, and I feel like it just blends in perfectly. I feel like it just blends it. So anyway, this is what the band looks like. And so I am going to serge the inside. So there, that raw edge is exposed on the inside, but I'm going to serge that down later. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is I'm going to do one arm with the bias tape just so you can see, and then I'm going to try it on. And this is what the back looks like. Again, not that you can really tell, but there's like a 1-inch band. So it really blends in with it well if you decided to use and then you can see how the band keeps the zipper from coming off too. So you're not going to have that issue. All right. So we'll move Claire and Maxine, move them out of the way. And the first thing that we're going to do before we put that bias tape on is we are going to do a basting stitch all the way around the armhole. Hi, Dee. How are you? So we're going to do a basting stitch all the way around the armhole just to keep the fabric connected. And you're going to do it within your seam allowance because you want it to be, covered. I mean, for me, basting stitch you can always remove, but I just prefer to just do it in the seam allowance. That way I don't have to worry about picking it out later. So when I do this, I also open up my seams if they aren't already pressed open, just so that it lays flat. Again, this fabric is fairly thin, so it's not a huge thing. So yes, I'm doing a basting stitch all the way around the armhole, just to keep those two pieces of fabric together. One less thing to worry about when you are sewing your bias tape on. And I'm just opening up my seam. What is it? 2:38, 2 hours, 38 minutes. We are doing great. There we go. All right, so that's done. And I would do that on both sides, but again, we're doing one arm. Then you could make your bias tape out of the fabric that you have sewn it in, or in this case, because I wanted to do a complementary color just as an accent, because I feel like, the top's got a lot going on, and this just kind of helps to, it helps to, bring a little bit of contrast to it. Because I am going to be leaving it, instead of folding it all the way to the inside, I think I've decided that I am going to be yeah, let me see if I have some double fold bias tape. I may not. Single fold. Single fold. Nope, I only have single folds, so it looks like we might be folding it all the way in. So this is just to show you, this is what the single fold looks like. So we're going to be attaching this raw edge, the raw edge of the bias tape to the raw edge of the armhole. And as you can see, this has, and I'm going to show both screens, but this has like a little bit of a fold in there. The first stitch we will be putting in that fold, and then we're going to push this onto the inside. So I'm going to show you once I pin it all the way around. So again, I'm folding it, opening it out, opening it completely out like this. And then I'm going to take the raw edge and I'm going to pin it. And I'm starting underneath my arm. The seam right underneath my arm is where I'm going to. And this is one of those cases where I'm actually going to use pins instead of clips. So I'm literally going to pin this all the way around. It just makes it easier because it's a circle. And also I've been able to do it without cutting into the circle. I've been able to get bias tape on, but if you have problems with it, like bunching, or it's not going evenly, sometimes it helps to make little clips into it, so that way you can smooth it on or get it to go around and give it a little bit more flexibility. But I haven't had to do that, but I have seen people do that on like YouTube videos. Ouch. So I'm going to show you in 1 minute what I'm doing. I'm just pinning it all the way around, aligning the raw edges, opening up the bias tape completely. Here we go. I'm doing great. Been doing a lot of traveling for work. So I have a week where I'm going to be, still working, but not traveling as much. So I'm looking forward to being able to sew a little bit more this week. I'm also going to be, sharing some information about my plans, my creativity around the Baltimore Frogtail. So I'm excited to share that. I have a couple of whips that I want to finish. One in particular was let me put this back up here because I want to make sure I talk about this before we wrap up. The blazer that took us 4 weeks to make. I want to give an update on that. And I have finally pressed it out and everything, and I'm gonna be doing one modification to it because I do want to wear it as a dress. And so I decided that I'm going to put some elastic on the sides to kind of cinch it in. So I kind of did like a little test, a trial run, and now I'm like, okay. So anyway, I'm going to talk about that. So that's what I will plan to do in the next week when I have more time. So that's what I'm working on. Dee, what are you working on? And I know I owe you. So Dee, for those that don't know, not owe you, but I'm going to finish my commitment. Dee has released some pattern, which I'm so proud of. that's what I want to be like you when I grow up, D, and get my own pattern out at some point in my life. And I have not gotten it yet, but it's not too late, right, D? It's not too late. We could get it at any time. So I'm going to be getting it because I want to make it at some point. Okay, so here's what I have done. D, how do they just message you, direct message you if they want to get your pattern? Okay, so here is, just so you can see, this is the bias tape. I've opened it all the way out. I've aligned the edges, and I am going to literally stitch right in that first fold. Here we go. I'm going to stitch right in this first fold. So just again, so you could see, I've opened it all the way out. I've lined the raw edges all the way around the armhole, and I'm going to stitch right into this first fold all the way around. And then, unlike what I originally said, because this is single fold bias tape, I'm going to fold the entire piece to the inside. So you're not going to see this black accent on the outside. Oh, been trying to teach yourself how to grade patterns. Well, that is an awesome skill. I can only imagine how that's going to make your ability to do patterns even better. Now, you say you try to teach yourself. I can only imagine that would be really difficult. But if anybody can do it, D, it's you. And then you could have some lives where you could teach us all how to do it too. So that would be awesome. Okay. So here we go. You say your brain hurts. Oh my goodness. Well, I appreciate you taking a dive in, because you doing it, I'm sure you're going to be able to help us all. Because let me tell you, I want to make patterns too. And I have no idea about pattern grading at all. Zero. So I know that that's an important skill set in order to make sure your patterns can fit, everybody. That they are fully inclusive. Okay, so here we go. We are down to the last little bit. Again, we are in that first little folded mark. That's kind of like our guide. We're using that as our guide. Make sure you change the length of your stitch back to the normal stitch so you don't end up doing all this work. Okay. Let me make a change. Okay, here we go. My iPad does not like my USB charger at all. It's like, give me the Apple charger or don't give me anything. So I got to do that. Ooh. I'm trying to charge this other thing. Where is it? Oh, it's down the bottom. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Back. I'm very anxious to try this on for a lot of reasons. Part of me also feels like, okay, I'm using a burgundy. Should I switch to a black? So all I'm doing right now is literally stitching within that fold. The other thing too is that when you get to the edge of the bias tape, I typically will fold it so that you have a finished edge. So when you stitched all the way around and you get to the very end of that bias tape, I take the end and I like fold it under so that it's finished. Almost there. I said I brought a charger that was made in China. My iPad was getting hot. I quickly put that charger in the trash. I know that's right, because the last thing you want to do is have it blow up. You know what? The charger that I was using is one that came with my cameras. And so rather than have like a whole bunch of different things plugged in, I try to like use those chargers. But I have an older iPad that I use. I have a newer one and an older one. The older one is like, nope, sorry. Like, you gonna give me an Apple charger or nothing? It does not want anything else. I said it's not, I'm not here for it. Okay, so here we go. Here is that bias tape. If you could see, it's that red stitch. It's now attached. And now the next thing you're going to do is you are going to take that bias tape and you are now going to fold it to the inside. And this is where it would be good to like press it, because you're going to literally fold it to the inside. So it's going to be like completely folded. So from the outside, it's going to look like this. From the inside, it's going to look like this. Outside, inside. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm going to use my clips for that. Just to hold it. And then I'm going to press it a little bit, and then I will stitch it. And so this is where I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should do a black thread. Yeah, it just gives it this nice little clean finish around the arms. It's like it's basically, we're treating it like a facing. And I'm going to show you once I finish folding this in all the way around. All right. Here we go. I think I'm okay. So now folded it all the way. Again, you can see from the outside, you don't see anything. From the inside, you can see this nice little finished. So I'm just going to take my mini iron and kind of press it a little bit. You can see my basting stitch, so I will have to pick that out, because again, the initial plan was to put that bias tape on the outside. Not a big deal, but because I'm not able to do that, now I got to remove that I got to remove the basting stitch, because you can see it. But again, that's why you do it in a 5 width, so that you just pluck a couple of the pieces and it's out. The one thing I will say about this Ankara board, it does iron really well. It lays. So like even a finger press will make it lay. So you put some steam on this thing and it's going to be really great. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. Very, very happy. It looks so nice. Looks good on the inside and good on the outside. Okay, so here we go. Again, this is what you're seeing. And now I'm going to Put it back at 2.5. And I think well, I didn't pull it out, so I'm just going to use, I am going to use my, I'm going to use this burgundy thread that I have in here. It's a complimentary thread. I was thinking about switching to black, but we're not going to do that. And I'm literally going to be stitching at the very edge of the fold on the bias tape. And I'll show you when I finish. It's basically like an edge stitch is what I'm doing. And if you have an edge foot, it'll be pretty easy for you to do. You just want to take your time. This is looking so good. Cannot wait to show you. And yeah, and it doesn't look bad on the other side either. I feel like the black would have looked really good, but this doesn't look bad. Okay, here we go. Last little bit. Last little piece. I'm so glad to see you all are ordering that mat. Again, I promise you, you will not be disappointed. All right, there we go. So it is you can't really see it that well, but trust me, it looks so good. So this is what the outside looks like. I have to take that basting stitch out, but you can see. And then this is what the inside looks like all the way around. So it's a nice, clean finish on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to do the other sleeve off camera because again, it's the last thing. It's not going to have an impact. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try it on so you can see what it looks like. A couple of finishing things will be to serge the inside of the where the waistband is attached, just again to give it a clean finish. You can see it's like the raw edge right there. So I'm going to serge that all the way around. For those that don't have a serger, that's also something that you could put, some bias tape on to give it a clean finish on the inside all the way. And then what else did I say? Oh yeah, then I'm going to put the bias tape on the other arm. I'll do that as well off camera. So with that, it's 2:59. I'm going to go try this on. I think I'm going to try it on with I'm going to see what it looks like with my McCall 7757 pants that I did in a knit. We'll see. This might be a little bit too much for these for these pants. We'll see how it looks. And or I'm gonna put it on with my with the new look shorts that I did. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna see which one looks the best, just for a quick look so you can all see, and then I will be right back. Am I gonna understitch it? So what I know, I'm not going to do another understitch. You talk about to the bias tape, because basically what I did is I did like an edge stitch, and so that's what I did with the bias tape. In terms of like the V itself, you could understitch it because it would make it lay a little bit flatter, but at this point I can't do it because it's enclosed. So for those that Monica was asking, am I going to understitch? And so there's two areas where you have an opportunity. One is along this V. You could definitely have understitched it, and it will help make sure that the lining facing fabric does lay flat. I did not understitch, but that is something that you could very well do. Like I could probably do it on this side because I didn't close the arm yet. So I probably could do it a little bit, but I didn't. So I'm probably not going to do it because I could press it out really good. And I don't think, I think once I press it, it's going to be, you know, fine. I haven't typically, this is my 1, 2, 3, 4th time making this. In this part, some of them are tops, dresses. So I've done a couple of variations of this, and I haven't really had a problem with it kind of peeking out. Yeah. So I hope that answered the question, Monica. If not, when I come back, let me know if there was another area that you were talking about specifically. Dee asked, did I win the custom dress form at Chicago Frocktail? So the other giveaway, for those that don't know, is Ditto Form was giving away a custom dress form. So y'all saw how I was trying to like squeeze my top onto these dress forms. They are not made in the reflection of my body. And so I also cannot use them for drafting purposes because, again, these are not my body measurements at all. So that's why I have an 8 and a 12, because depending on my body, the part of my body, it fits in between my hips, my waist, my bust area fit in between this 8 and 12, which is why I have those two dress forms, but none of them are a complete reflection of my body measurements. And so Ditto Form takes a scan of your body and makes a dress form in your body's exact measurements. Did I win it? And they were auctioning or giving one, not auctioning, they were giving one away. One was donated. I don't know if donated is the right word, but they were a sponsor of Chicago Frocktails. It was like it's like $2,000, which I think is worth it if you are somebody who's going to be drafting your own patterns. And no. So the long answer is no, I did not. The short answer to the long answer that I just gave is no, I didn't win it, but I am very seriously considering getting one because I think it would be so helpful for me. All right, stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, so this is the top. First of all, I did not have any problems getting it on. I will tell you that having the V, the open V, and the zipper going all the way down to the band definitely helped. It was not a problem for me to get it on going over my head with this woven, fabric. What I will reiterate what I said earlier, which is that if you do have much broader shoulders or a bigger bust, or you end up doing like maintaining the round neck or going really high up in your V, you may, I think you have a little bit more room. Like I did 4 inches. I think you might be able to go a little bit, maybe another inch or so, again, depending on the width of your shoulders. But I did not have any problem. I was able to kind of get it on. And I was nervous about that. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous about it just because I went up 4 inches. The other ones I have went up 2 inches. So they came down a little bit lower, on me. It was a little bit more, cleavage that was showing. This is with the white pants. You can't really see the bottoms, I don't think, but I got on some heels. So these are the 7577 pants that it goes with. This is the back. You can see the back, zipper up in the back. I still have to again finish this arm. Put the bias tape on. But overall, I feel like it's really cute. It fits. It's very comfortable. It feels very lightweight. Yes, this is great. And again, this is a hack. It's a hack of the Kika Vargas hack for Know Me 2016. This is the bodice. So it's a sleeveless V-neck crop top. So you could definitely leave on those other 2 inches and it will probably come like right here. So it's still a little bit, it'd be like what I would call like the midriff. It'd be right at your belly button. If you didn't make that modification. But yeah, this is what it looks like with the V-neck. Very, very cute. Okay, I'm going to give you one more try on. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to try it on with the shorts that have the matching fabric, just so we can get a feel. Like, is it going to be too much? Is it too much going on to wear a matching top and bottom? Or do you really need to just use one of these complementary colors? I feel like the white isn't so bad. I thought it was going to be like too much, but it's not too bad. I don't think it's too bad. So I will be right back. Okay. So here are the shorts. These shorts are Know Me, not Know Me. These shorts are where's my pattern? Okay, these shorts are New Look 6780. These are the shorts. So I will tell you, I did make a lot of modifications to these. Not a lot, but I changed the length. I probably cut the length in half. So these are, if you think about the length, this is 2.5 lengthwise. That's what I shortened it to. They are wide, so they have a lot of room. So I also took some of the wideness out of I shortened the crotch area. Took some width out of the crotch area, basically the entire from the front to the back. and I also took some out of the sides. It has a little bit of like a wideness to the bottom of it. It's not particularly my style as is. So of course I definitely made some modification to take that width. But because they are so wide, I felt like I could get away with a little bit of a shorter short. But I think it's good. And then it has this tie here. You can't really tell because it all like blends in, but it has like a fake tie so that it has elastic in the waist, but then it also has this tie which doesn't go all the way around. It's kind of like just this front for aesthetic. But I do feel like it's not too busy. It's not too much to have a top and the bottom with this fabric all the same. So just wanted to give you that also. I do have it on with some heels because of course I can't help but always to wear heels. I love to wear heels with everything. Yes, right. So Marilyn said, you know, you could have the black bias tape on the right side of the armhole. And if you do the reverse, then what you did to put the bias tape, the face. So yeah, you know what? That is a good idea. So I could have put it in the reverse to fold the bias tape out. That's a great idea, Marilyn. You know what? I'm so used to when I put in the bias tape like that with it exposed on the right side, using the double fold bias tape. And so I was like, oh, I have the single fold. I just got to do it this way. But that is a great point about how I could have put it in the opposite way and folded it over this way. Totally a good point. Thank you, Marilyn. See, this is why I love our sewing community, because like people come out with all the suggestions and be on point 100%. Thank you so much. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Lala, Dory, Gail. Galavon, I love that. Yeah, right. Thank you, Black Sewing Network, Carmen, Anna, Marilyn. So this top is, just as a reminder, this top is Know Me. Well, it is a hack of Know Me 2016. So it's a hack of, Nikki did a hack of her dress, turning the bodice or the top part into a top, a Kika Vargas inspired top. And then I took a hack of her hack and did the crop top, V-neck, no sleeves. So that is what this is, a hack of a hack. And so again, if you are thinking about making this, there's a prep video that I encourage you to watch. It's 5 minutes. It tells you what parts of Nikki's hack that you need to watch. It tells you how to prepare your pattern and then what you have to do to make this. These shorts that I have on are New Look shorts. They are, again, the New Look shorts are a little bit like what I would call like a more square, a wider leg part. I shortened them considerably and then took some of the width out of it. So it didn't have as much of like a boxy look, but more of a, you know, more of a form fitting, but still a little bit of a loose look. So it's loose. It is loose. So even though they're short, they are loose, which is good for, like, you know, if you're going on vacation, you're going, you know, or it's just like hot, like it's going to be all next week. So New Look is the shorts. And then, but what we're really here for is the crop top, which I made on live today. And so we will be making, am I doing these shorts? Oh yeah, we are doing these shorts next Friday. We're making these shorts next Friday. So to go. So look, if you like this, you can make this offline, and then we're going to make these shorts. We are making these. They got pockets to them. We're making these. We are making these. And then the other thing you could do is you could do a little slit on the side. I thought about that too, like opening it up and do a little slit on the sides too. So anyway, you got options with these shorts. This is considered an easy pattern, New Look 6780. Join me next Friday because we're making that, and you might be able to use this to do hot girl summer, hot guy summer. You can use any New Look pattern, but we're gonna be making these shorts next Friday. I forgot about that. So thank you, Dee. It is. They are very comfortable. So this whole thing is very comfortable, like very, very comfortable. Black Rose, thank you. Anna, thank you. Coco Drop, thank you so much. Miss Tata, thank you. Thank Thank you, everyone. So that is it. I'm going to wrap up. I will see you all next Friday. Again, you got a preview. We are doing new look 6780. And then again, I encourage you all to make this. Let me know if you have any questions along the way. Drop it in the chat. Direct message me. I'm so happy to help you if you are sewing this after the fact. Definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to be able to help you. All right. With that said, good night, everyone. See you next Friday. Bye.